Oh, did we ever get to Tracey? Did you get credit? Oh, you did get credit.
Yeah, she did.
How easily we forget.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's Bunka Chunka time.
Oh, we didn't record all that fun?
No, we did not.
Oh.
We just started recording now.
You missed some great B-roll there.
What's that?
You missed some great B-roll there.
Some great B-roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Welcome to the Huddle, your front row seat to Owosso's real estate plays and local highlights. Join us as we tackle the latest in home trends and commercial spaces, celebrate our neighborhood champions, and give you the straight scoop on the market. With a dash of humor and a playbook of expertise, we're here to help you navigate the field, whether you're buying, selling, or just enjoying the game. Tune in where real estate meets real talk and community spirit scores big. Welcome to the Huddle.
I'm starting to feel a bit outclassed here.
Oh, Brian, there is no outclassing being done here. So here we are, Cody,
Happy January 9th.
January 9th. Cody and I just want to start off this show. We just want to get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way now. Last night was nothing short of awesome.
Awesome.
Michigan, national champs, man.
It's been a long time coming, and those who stay will be champions, and they truly did that because we could have lost a few players last year, and they stuck around because they said this is what they wanted, and they got it.
Got it. So I have a couple people looking at me right now that are not all that interested in this National Collegiate Athletic Association's football championships. And I thought I would just take a second to explain why we think it's such a big deal, why it is a big deal. First of all, for me, and Cody, I want you to share why it's such a big deal to you when we're in this conversation. But first of all, I was raised raised in a Michigan football home, so that's the easiest part, right? I grew up watching Saturday afternoons, the old school Big Ten. We're a big Michigan household, so to see it come back around to greatness again feels good because there were some downtimes, very downtime.
Yep.
And the
2008 was the start of a rough patch.
Yes, it was, and it looks like my camera has frozen. So while I fix that camera, Cody, why don't you tell us about why it's so important to you?
Well, that's easy. Same reason. I don't have any affiliation with going to Michigan, but just grew up in a Michigan football household, and I remember growing up watching Desmond Howard. I mean, I was really young when he played, but I remember watching him, Tim Biakapatuka, Charles Woodson, Tom Brady, Brian Greasy, Drew. I mean, I can sit and name off. The 90s was awesome.
Tom Brady.
And now it's coming.
Mr. Deflategate himself?
Mr. Deflategate, yes.
See, I know nothing about sports, but I know that name.
And so to go through the rough patch we did and make it here, it's a big deal. It's been a rough couple years not making it to the national championship and to actually make it and win it.
Absolutely.
It's a good feeling.
So that's the personal side of why I think it's such a big deal, but I'd like to highlight or relate that to business because what a college football program in a football season is a lot like our business. We put in a ton of planning, a ton of practice, and a ton of work to achieve what we're trying to achieve every year. So it's hard not to have a ton of respect for any program that ends up on top, right? you know that they put in the hard work. You know that they put in the planning. And from a program standpoint, the athletic director, the school president has to hire the right coach, and that coach has to hire the right staff and the right team to coach these young guys. And it takes all of that to produce, a great football team, not to mention the day in, day out of the practices and the drills and all that stuff. And a college football season is pretty taxing now, especially now that there's up to 15 games in a season.
Oh no, this was the last season for that.
Well,
next year it's even more.
Yep. And so it is. I think that at the end of any championship run in any sport, you have to look at it. It's hard for me not to look at it that way. That it took a whole group of people to put this team together, and then it took that same group of people to work on the fundamentals, the basics, every day in, day out, work together as a team on those, and then come out on top like they did. So it's awesome. And it's our team that did
now
it.
And then now it's our turn to put in that work and achieve what we're.
That's right.
Even though we've already been putting in the work.
We've been putting into work, but
yes.
But we can take those principles and those things learned.
It's a good way to look at it.
So that's why, guys.
I have to commend you. That was a great monologue that you just did on teamwork and working together and the importance of training and being present and all that. Could you give that speech for Congress, please?
Yeah, I could, but they won't listen.
Yeah.
I won't.
Probably because they're like, eh.
Yeah, right. The average age of Congress is what?
It's 70-something now.
Yeah. So that's a topic, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the real estate world now that we're starting the second week of January. Mm-hmm. And the last time we spoke, we said that potentially things would start looking up right around this time. What are we seeing?
Exactly that.
Yep, exactly that.
Everything that I've been seeing is getting either multiple offers or just more activity. The homes that have been sitting on the market or commercial properties at that are starting to get more activity now that things are kind of settled in the new year. Everybody's got a new outlook on everything. They're starting to dip into the real estate market and get a little more serious.
Yeah.
I concur. My silence was concurrence. So yeah, I mean the one thing that actually was very surprising is I've seen a few listings that have popped up in the 250, 300 range, and last month it would have been crickets. This month we're seeing quite a bit of activity. On the newest listing that we have on Ohio, it's a coming soon open house on Sunday. And my phone's been ringing off the hook. People asking, mostly other listing agents asking, or other buyers agents asking questions about it because they want to bring their clients through. And also the usual fare of agents trying to, hey, can I get a quick sneak peek? No, you can't get a sneak peek. Come to the open house.
Yeah, good.
You have
Tracey?
a lot of showings outside the open house?
Right now we are just at 2 confirmed showings.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
So open house will probably be packed.
Yeah.
But the interest between that one and the previous listing that we had that started out at 250, night and day difference.
Yeah.
Like the previous, that one was crickets, and this one is just like off the hook.
Yeah. And we're at 285.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tracey, what are you seeing out there?
Well, I'm still showing homes and writing offers, so it's good.
That's absolutely very good. That was going to be my comment too. Was our last listing priced at 165. We had showings all weekend long, starting on Friday, Saturday, and then stragglers on Sunday. We ended up with multiple offers, and I'm not at liberty at this moment to talk about the details because we're still under contract. But we had multiple offers, and very impressive amount of interest. And we talked about that, though, that price range, that 165 was going to be a hot price range because of that. What I find interesting is that 285 is bearing a lot of interest. So good.
It's definitely given the location as well.
Yeah, location, and it is a ranch. 3 bedrooms on the main floor. That there's a lot that is appealing in that house for a broad group of people. So, yeah. We're for the next couple of months, we're going to, as a group, be in business planning and training for the new year, talking about how to build our businesses, what things to do. So we are always fashion our business, or at least here in this office, we fashion our business around the people we already know, our sphere of influence. Given that we're in the second week of January, I'd like to hear from you guys if you're having conversations with your sphere or just people in general, and so we know what's happening in the market. But I think the question is does our population know what's happening in the market right now? Are you getting any feedback on the market, or people inquiring about the market?
I'm getting a lot of people calling from the letters I send out, and so there are a lot of people out there thinking of selling or wanting to sell, but they're hung up on obviously the inventory, on having a place, and also interest rates. People are still hung up on, and it's like they're coming down, and you can't wait for an interest rate because you'll never get what you want. You can always refinance. There's always a game plan you can have. Marry your home, not your interest rate, basically, is what it is. Because that home will only pop up maybe once in the next 7 years, 20 years, 30 years. You just never know.
That's a good point to bring up, is people are staying in their homes longer now than they have traditionally in the past. 5 to 7 years seem to be the average.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like 7 to 10 years now is the new average staying at home. So if you have your eye on a particular home and it sells this year, you can plan on
Don't
7 to
wait.
10 years.
Yep.
My opinion is that that's directly tied to the modern workforce, because ever since the pandemic, when a lot of people went to working remote, working from home, they put time and effort into making their working environment appealing to them, and so trying to recreate that in a new place. And there's no need to relocate. You can live pretty much wherever you want to these days.
You'd actually be surprised how many people found out working from home how much they actually don't like their home.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Because they're there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or
So
they're
they're rethinking it.
the other question that comes up is, okay, if I can live anywhere because of my work, why am I living here? That I would choose to live here. Saw that happen a lot over the last handful of years, actually, and not like out of Michigan necessarily, but just the type of location they're in or whatever. But we did have one client, happened to be a neighbor of mine, who said, "Man, if I could," I'm setting myself up for one here, but if I can live anywhere and still work, why am I living here across the street from Jeff McIntyre? But they went to the UP and they love it up there. So, yeah.
Talk about working remote.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remote would be like Resolute, Alaska.
Well,
And that's still
that's
not
pretty
remote enough
remote
for
for
me.
us, though. You still got a chance of a moose or something being outside your window.
But are you having conversations about the market with people, and do you find that they're, for the most part, off a little bit as far as what's happening?
No, I mean, so the conversations I've had most recently are some upcoming listings that I have, and the previous conversation with them, the one, they were looking at getting the most bang for their buck, and they didn't want to stay on the market a long time. And my recommendation, let's shoot for mid till the end of January before we list. And that, I think, would be maximize their returns.
Yep.
And so we touched base yesterday to discuss where we were with that. And I did a little bit of a market analysis before I reached out to them. And I'm still holding firm to that. I think that we're super close to listing. I think we're probably shooting towards the end of the month. but I think that we're definitely on the uptick. I'm going to predict that we're going to see a lot of activity from now until the end of the month. We'll have a little bit of a dip in February, and then it'll kick back off in March when the weather starts to warm.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
If we're cold by March.
Hey, and I mean, it's kind of like meteorology. I only have to be right 50% of the time, right?
It's true. For your predictions. Yeah. We'd like you to be right more than 50% of the time, but it's just a prediction, not a...
It's a prediction. It's an educated guess.
But you don't have radar and all these other, measuring devices like the weatherman has. He has no excuse to be wrong that often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he also has a government agency to lean back on, and the NOAA and all that. So yeah. Only people I have to lean back on is NAR, and all they want is my money and to send me spam calls.
Yes. And to try to tell us who to vote for because that's where our money's going.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that's that conversation. Speaking directly to your sphere of influence here, what do you want them to know right now about not only your business but what's happening or what's happening in the future of this market? What kind of message do you want to send to your sphere of influence right now about how things are looking and how you can help?
Well, if I'm talking to my buyers, I'm going to tell them that right now is an ideal market for them because it is a little bit slower than what it typically is. And you have much better opportunity, a better chance of having an offer accepted in the current market than you will once people start coming back to the market probably in March after they get their taxes filed and they're starting to get their returns back and stuff like that. Much less competition right now. So if you're interested in buying, right now's the time. You'll definitely, even if the interest rate's a little bit higher, because it's probably going to drop a couple points of a point over the next couple months is what I'm expecting. And even if that's the case, you're still saving money because the people, once the flood of buyers comes back on the market, you're going to run into more competition. You're going to have offers that are going over asking price again. So you're going to actually be paying more money for the house in the long run. So to my sellers, I would sit there and say that, you're going to have the pick of the litter in the next couple months and just to, hang tight and you're going to get the bang for your buck, I think.
Good.
I agree.
Tracy. Oh, Cody,
No, there's not too much you can elaborate on there. I mean, he pretty much hit it on the nail. Hit the head of the nail.
Sorry if I stole your thunder there.
No, you're fine.
thunder thief.
You already got to commandeer the conversation earlier, anyways.
So this has been fun for the last 45 seconds. I've had the camera on Tracey so she can watch you two just volley back and forth. It's kind of fun. It's like she was watching a tennis match.
I think I would say that I think I've mentioned it before. It's a process, and we're real estate consultants. We're experts in the field. So at what point in somebody's thought process do they make the call? And I think that's just when that initial thought to call, not wait until, or we need to do this, or we don't know. Call us and let's sit down and have a conversation and put a time, because Brian had touched on it. You're in contact with them. You put a timeline. Just because you call us doesn't mean we put a sign in your yard, that evening or the next day. Let's see. Just have a conversation, whether you want to buy or you want to sell.
And everybody has different motivators. Oh, sorry. Did you?
No, you're good.
Okay. Everybody has different motivators for the reasons why they want to buy and sell. So, and like I know Jeff has a couple that he's been working with for well over a year, waiting to list their home. They desperately want to list their home. They want to get into something that more fits their current family lifestyle, but they're looking for the perfect house. They're not concerned as much about interest rates. I mean, they are to an extent, but that's not their primary factor. Their primary factor is the house itself, and and so finding something in their price range that fits all of their needs that they want has been a little bit of a chore. So, but we're doing it bit by bit, and but then you have buyers that are like the person I spoke to last night. She had her house in the market, had a contract on another house she was purchasing, and the contract on the house that she was purchasing fell through. And so she's desperately looking for another place because the house she's living in is being closed on Friday. So she's kind of in a pickle. So she's looking for something like now. So she has a much different motivator versus Jeff's clients that are just looking for the perfect house. And so it's a different situation. I've dealt with people where, the one woman I'm dealing with, her brother had a heart attack and he was single living on his own. He needs assistance. So he moved in with her, and her motivating factor now is that she's looking for a place that doesn't have stairs because his heart can't take going up and down stairs, and all the bedrooms are upstairs in her house. But she's also motivated by finding something that would be comfortable for both of them to live in and meet their needs, because he has equipment that has to be in the bedroom, so they can't have like tiny little bedrooms. They have to have decent sized bedrooms for everything. So, but everybody has their own reason. So it's just trying to work with them and under their circumstances. So I'm there to simply help with the journey, help with the process, and make sure that I get them the best deal and that I possibly can. So
It's definitely not a cookie cutter industry.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
it is not.
And to touch on what you were saying, Tracey, like people with the consultations, the presentations we do, by having them come in and just have a conversation, we unravel a lot of more information by the questions we ask, and they are like shocked by the information we give them. Like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that about the market or about the interest rates or about how you can kind of put them in a good scenario to where they can achieve their real estate goals, whether they were thinking about waiting a year or waiting for interest rates to come down or whatever. Giving them the correct information and really puts them, we can find a way to put them in a good scenario to get them their goals given any market.
So I like where Tracey was going with that is simply, if you're thinking about selling this year, don't wait until the end of the year to call me. That's as soon as it becomes a thought, call me. We can get that consultation type situation, or the consultation appointment done with, where we can pull that information out of you. But the sooner you have more information, the better. If there is work that you end up needing to do to the house, or it would be the best thing for you to do, you're going to need time for that. So call earlier. Let's get a consultation, or just an appointment. We don't have to call it a consultation. It doesn't have to be formal. Let's just sit down and talk. Let us ask some questions. You can ask some questions, and we'll get you to where you want to go. Ideally, the most profitable way for you, the most time efficient way for you, but having that conversation early is absolutely best.
And given the last 2 years proves their point, is people were waiting and they waited maybe a month too long, and they called and they're like, hey, I'd like to sell my home, and I know the market's hot, and it's like the market can change overnight. Where we're getting 10 offers on every listing, and then all of a sudden the following week we might get 2 showings because the market slows down a little bit. So
yeah,
I mean, that has happened the last 2 years, big time.
Yes, it has. All right, gang. That's all I have. Anybody have anything they want to bring up and talk about?
So I do have a buyer looking in the Owosso school district. I think it would be a good opportunity to put out there what we have buyers looking, given the inventory.
Why don't you look right at that camera right there and tell them.
I have a buyer looking in the Ovid Elsie School District. They're looking for 10 plus acres. A ranch home would be ideal, but it's not a deal breaker. Just looking for some hunting property, enough to where they could do that, have some land to have some fun on, hobby farm, whatever. And yeah, so they're looking probably up to the $300,000 range. But if you have anything, just give me a call. My number is 989-721-7329. Just do a free market analysis and see where you're at.
Good. Cody, always working for his buyers and his sellers. I like it. All right, let's put a pretty little bow on this post-national championship version of the Huddle.
Where's the confetti?
Yeah, no kidding. I wouldn't want to have to clean that up. All right.
That was short and sweet.
26 minutes, but I realized halfway through that we haven't discussed.
I was going to say that.